Season 3 of Modern Warfare 2 is here, and is it a doozy, or is it actually something that just feels like the rest of the seasons? Well, I'm going to go over that in my opinion today on Modern Warfare 2 Season 3, and again, it's really going to depend on what you want from Call of Duty and what you want for your experience. So, let's discuss this. Season 3 came out probably almost about maybe a week ago, sometime last week. And I started off not really playing too much of the season because there was a bug in Ground War which made it so there were only 2 maps playable in Ground War. There was Zai Observatory and then this map, Rohan Oilfields. Now there was an actual problem though, was there was no limit on how many players could be in the match, and once the match would start, it really wouldn't add any players. So you may have experienced quite a few matches at the beginning of Season 3 for I think the first 24 hours where the lobbies were only filled with about 15 to 20 players on these giant maps, which made for a very, very horrible experience in my opinion. And it just felt like you were just running around and doing nothing all game. So I just didn't really play Season 3 until a few days ago, and then today I went fishing, all that kind of stuff over the weekend, so I had a busy weekend. Didn't play much, but Season 3, there's still a few bugs in the game that I've noticed, especially some new ones. So they fixed in the combat record the accuracy stats, just a very minor thing, I know, but the combat records, I just want to make mention of that before I mention this. So combat records are broken right now. Your recent games, it will, for whatever reason, track your deaths, and that's the only thing that's being tracked right now. However, it seems like the leaderboards, kills, and deaths, and all that kind of stuff is still being tracked, so that's a good thing. However, with that said, nothing in my combat record is updating, so it feels like a lot of what I'm doing is it going to waste, or is it still being tracked in the background, just a visual bug? We'll have to wait and see whenever InfinityWard goes ahead and figures out how to resolve this. But yeah, kind of a minor bug, you know, is what it is. I was hoping Season 3 was going to fix some of the glitches in the game, such as if you're in a gunship or a chopper gunner and you get killed, you'll actually get kicked from the game if you don't exit that chopper gunner or gunship. So you have to be very careful when you're using these streaks, because you also show up on the minimap when you are firing these streaks if there's an enemy UAV up. So yeah, good luck trying to use your streaks. You really have to make sure you're in a safe area to call them in, which I pretty much go out of my way to make sure that you don't going to be in a safe area. They didn't fix this with Season 3, so I'm hoping they're aware of it, and I'm hoping that they do decide to fix it. The VTOL glitch has actually been somewhat fixed. There was a glitch in the game since the beta where if you try to call in a VTOL jet, sometimes you just stand there with your little, tablet out, and you can't do anything at all for 30 seconds, and you cannot call in a VTOL for the rest of the game. It seems that the controls are still all messed up, but you can call it in now. So I guess a half fix for the bug? I don't know. But in my experience, I have no longer received the full-on VTOL glitch anymore, which is positive, and I'm very excited and happy that they have finally at least somewhat remedied this issue, although it was not mentioned in the patch notes. As for the new guns, I love the Cronin Squall. I think this gun is really good in Ground War. It also comes with an underbarrel drill charge, which is very good for Ground War, because there's a lot of tanks in Ground War, so if you want to force enemies out of tanks, or just kill people behind cover, you can slap on an underbarrel drill charge, which I actually think I have a gameplay with that. I was messing around with it, and, honestly, underbarrels on this gun, they're good and all, but they're not, necessary, in my opinion. So I think that you could definitely work with having the 40mm drill charge on, and you can use that, again, to help counteract a lot of the vehicles here in Ground War, as well as people who are just sitting behind cover. Now, the maps here, Rohan Oilfields and Satik Cave Complex, in my opinion, I think they are good maps. I know that some of my friends disagree with me, but to each their own. I definitely like these maps more than a lot of the maps are in the game for Ground War, especially, you know, Sarif Bay, Tarak, Santa Senya. If you're wondering what maps I think are bad, those three. And maps that I think are good are basically the remainder of the maps. So yeah, I do enjoy these maps a lot. I think they are a lot of fun, and I like the size of them. I like the way they play, and I like that Satik Cave Complex is one of our first, like, infantry-focused maps. There's only one vehicle per team, or I should say, tank per team, and that's the APC. So it's a lot of fun just having infantry combat, and I think Ground War really needed that because a lot of these maps in this game have, like, 6, 7 vehicles that can kill people, and, you know, the heavy chopper and all that kind of stuff. So Satik Cave Complex, no heavy chopper. Al Malik International Airport, no heavy chopper. I like that they're mixing up the ways that the maps play, and I think it adds to a more diverse experience to Ground War, which makes it more fun, for me at least. Now, 6v6 maps, Palaio's Lighthouse and Black Gold. Palaio's Lighthouse, it's okay. I think it's a very strange design. It is okay, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really too big on 6v6 in this game anymore, but I don't think it's a bad map. Maybe the brightness and colors could have been a little bit better, but other than that, I don't think it's the worst map they've ever put out. Black Gold, on the other hand, I think is actually a very good map, but I really despise the night vision mechanics. The whole, you know, just when you're aiming, you're just shining a laser everywhere, and everyone's just, all you see is lasers everywhere, which I don't really think is good design, because you have everybody just staring at each other's lasers, pre-aiming, scared of, you know, engaging each other. It's just, it plays really weird, and I don't like that they're forcing us to play that in a rotation. It'd be a cool gimmick for, like, you know, an LTM, or something like its own playlist, but having a map in a rotation where it plays completely different than, you know, it completely changes the way the game is played like that, I don't really think that's a good idea, in my opinion. So, you know, I personally just don't care for Black Gold. But other than that, I think the map design and, like, layout is really good, which is a shame that they decided to take the good map, right, or at least in my opinion, the good map, and ruin it with such gimmick. FJX Intervention is back, or FJX Imperium, whatever you want to call it. I just know it's the Intervention from the original Modern Warfare 2, which I'd like to see more of these kind of guns. I actually think it's pretty cool that they added this gun to the game, and, you know, I like classic throwback weapons. I'd like to see some more of the original Modern Warfare 2 weapons added to the game, such as the original FAMAS, the FN F2000, the ACR. The ACR is one that I know has been very, very asked for from the community, but apparently they're not delivering that. And it looks like we're getting a Tech 9 later in the season, which is like a full auto pistol that shoots slow, or maybe it will be a semi-auto. So yeah, Tech 9's coming later, which is cool, I guess. I mean, I'm not really the biggest fan of Tech 9, but it is what it is. But overall, I am pleased with the season, alright? Whenever I saw the whole controversy that's going on with the game right now, with, you know, all these people that were hyping up the game and saying, oh my god, MW2 is saved, MW2 is saved, and all that kind of stuff, I took it with a grain of salt. I didn't get myself excited. I was not going to be like, oh yeah, they're bringing back slide canceling, they're going to, you know, make the movement go absolutely crazy like some of these people were saying. I pretty much expected that they were just going to refine the movement that's already in the game, maybe smooth out some of the transitions and stuff you see whenever people are going from, like, a prone to a crouch or dive or something, or make it a little bit better, which, in my opinion, speeding up the dive and slide fire times, like, after you do those actions, was a good move. Was it enough? I mean, it feels much better. But I'm also playing Ground War, where people are generally not looking in your direction at all times. You know, the maps are much more spread out, which means you can get away with using a dive and a slide. It's more forgiving, right, than it would be in 6v6, where the maps are basically forcing action upon enemies. So I'm not really going to make an opinion on that, but I really do think that it is what it is, you know, like if the whole movement shitting was like, it just completely ruined the game for me and I can't play the game without some sort of advanced movement, I simply just wouldn't have played this game. But it's really not that big of a deal to me personally, so, you know, I just really don't care. And Infinity Ward is not going to change the game based off of what people are telling them. They're going to make the game the way they want to make it. So, at the end of the day, it's kind of one of those things, if you like it, play it. If you don't, then don't play it, in my opinion. Because all the complaining and people just forcing themselves to still play the game that they don't like, in my opinion, is just dumb. There's so many more games out there. I don't only play Call of Duty, okay? And, well, it's my main game, but, you know, during the years I didn't like Call of Duty, alright? Black Ops 4, World War II, Infinite Warfare, I just did other things. I played other games, you know? It wasn't that big of a deal where I was just on Twitter every single day cursing out the developers and telling them that they're a bunch of idiots and stuff, you know? I do think that some of the design choices that Infinity Ward makes are definitely questionable, and I've made my fair share of comments on Twitter, definitely being a sarcastic asshole, but at the end of the day, I think that people have to realize when a game releases, a giant overhaul is very unlikely because they're going to try to cater towards a certain playstyle or a certain vision, and basically they're going to either cut their losses or they're going to move on to the next game. I don't see Call of Duty being one of those games where they're going to just do a 180 and completely undo everything that they've been working on for years. Unless it's Warzone, of course, because, I mean, that's a free-to-play experience. It's going to be going on for a couple years. So, you know, the developers over there, Raven Software, is like, okay, you know what, we better listen because this game is free-to-play, and if we don't make some changes and bring people back to the game, well, how are we going to make our money off microtransactions? But multiplayer, they already got your money. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that it's really a priority for them to really fix multiplayer that in that kind of way, and I would assume multiplayer's probably doing okay. I mean, most of the complaining I always see is about Warzone, so I don't know. That's just kind of a ramble there at the end, but overall, I think Season 3 is a step in the right direction. I'm happy with some of the balance changes that came with the game. I'm happy with the maps. I'm happy with the stuff that they brought, at least for me, because I mostly play Ground War nowadays. And overall, I think that it was a positive change. Also, Ricochet Anti-Cheat apparently is detecting cheaters. I saw a clip this morning when I woke up. And some guy, people were turning invisible on his screen, so that's a good thing. But other than that, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.